down, they tear it down pretty quickly. However, you still can fight back with home ownership. Simple as that. Now, I also want to tell you that even the wildfires in California, because I'm based in California and Florida for my real estate, although I sell across the nation. Um, Historic places like Altadena, which were completely flattened out, the hawks are out, baby. They are out. We'll buy your land. We'll buy your land. Buy your land. You don't want it. We'll buy your land. They are already out. And you can't tell me that that's not political. It is. So I'm urging all of my clients, which I had 4 clients lose their homes in these fires, to
Oh my gosh.
not give in and sell their land. California land? Are you crazy? Don't do it.
Mm. Wow. Well, what do you say to those families that are just cash strapped, right? Like that to me is the tragedy of it, right? There's so many people couldn't get adequate homeowners insurance, and even if they do have it, it's going to take time for them to get a check, you know.
Let me tell you
And
something
so,
about that.
wait, sorry.
Let me tell you something about that. Because that also is some bullshiggity. All right. In Florida, California, and places like Louisiana, when they have natural disasters like this all the time, you don't have very good options for insurance. Insurance pulls out because they don't want to pay anything out. So most of the part, my last 2, 3 years, there's only been one option for mostly homeowners that are just not even adequate enough to cover their property, but it's required by law. So you get a top premium for insurance, but not much coverage. It's going to start shaking out now, and it's going to be very interesting to see.
Wow. Well, it's interesting to see that, right? So I guess I'm thinking about that, right? I'm really, in like in this class we've talked about something that I don't think gets discussed enough, which is liquidity, just access to cash. Sometimes you have wealth, but you don't have access to cash. In fact, that was the whole reason I created our whole Prime program. Is I was like, well, if you have some stock, here's how you can get some cash out of that stock, right? It's like if I have a bunch of fruit but I'm thirsty, there's water, there's moisture in the fruit if I know how to use it. And
Yes.
so, I'm really just thinking that these corporations have a massive advantage, mainly because they're really liquid. They have, at BlackRock, they've got trillions of dollars. So yeah, they can wait it. They that gives you the ability to wait out the storm. They can be very patient. They can say, "Oh, we're buying this land as part of our 20-year plan." It also gives them the ability to go and get the cash they need to make an offer to you that feels really good. Not just because they can pay a premium for your house, but also because you're sitting there and you're like, "We don't have a hotel to stay in. We don't have clothes for our kids. We're trying to figure out how to relocate." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll write a check for you." Right. And this to me as a finance professor really piques my spidey senses because what this really is this is really a where one type of financial consciousness is able to take advantage of another type. This is big bank take little bank. This is how wealth gets transferred from one group to another. Is you have the long-term thinker that's in a financially secure position who always has a certain amount of negotiating power over the short-term thinker who's in a tough spot, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so if you want to know understand America in a nutshell, what it is for the most part is comfortable people really taking advantage of those who are not comfortable and saying, "Hey, you're in pain. Here, let me give you a couple dollars, but you got to sell me your soul." Right? Can you kind of speak to that?
Yes, it's very much true. And they know when people don't have anywhere to go and they need families. One of my families, he only got out with the clothes on his back because he never took the time to do the emergency kit that I always sent out, like, this is what you need, this is what I always tell this to my clients, and they just never got around to it. So he shooed his wife and baby out, but by the time he came back, all he had was the clothes on his back. So when you are in that situation and you don't have access to certain types of monies or somewhere to go, then of course that looks very attractive to you. But in the long run, you are the one who is screwed because that land is probably twice, 3 times more because it's already a shortage in there. And It's erasing Black history because Altadena, which nobody is talking about, the Eden Fires is Altadena. That's Black history right there.
That's
They're
right.
wiping that out. So I always urge people, listen, it may not be easy. Oh my God, I know. There are times my husband and I ate ramen noodles when we first started out, okay? And I mean splitting a pack, not a whole pack apiece. But if you can put $5 away here and there, if you could just not buy that Starbucks 2 or 3 times a week and put that somewhere safely where you can get to it, you will have something to tap and touch to help you during these times. I can't stress and I can't make you. I wish I had a magic wand to go, ring, you need to make sure you save this money.
Mhm.
But we can only tell you till we're blue in the face. You must have cash on hand. It's different to say you're a millionaire on paper and in real estate, but you can't liquefy that quickly. You still need cash.
Mm. Wow. Well, let me tell you this. One thing that's interesting is when you talk about institutional investors buying property, some research that I did here, it almost seems like BlackRock is kind of playing down what they're doing with single family homes. They claim that they don't really direct. They said we do not directly purchase single family homes. How can they say that in light of so much evidence to the contrary? I mean, do you think that that means that that they're basically saying we indirectly purchase single family homes? What do you think's going on with that?
All about wording. And if we can have a convicted felon as a president, we can have BlackRock tell you anything they want to. I know differently. So, and so do so many other people. But it doesn't matter because now we're the conspiracy theorists by telling you the truth. So it's all about doing your own research and knowing the true facts on things. Do not just depend on what people are telling you. They're telling you anything, but the facts are out there. What does my favorite person say on Fly Nubia? Well, I don't have one a favorite, but I love all my sisters. But one of my favorite people who has the best comebacks is Constance. She says, Google that shit. Google that shit. You can find really good information by doing that. Don't just take the word of other people. Find out for yourself. Get knowledge for yourself. It's not that hard.
Mm. Well, yeah, you know what? I'll tell you what, knowledge is power. We know that. And whether it's BlackRock or not, I think that um there is kind of this idea that basically it seems that you have these private equity investors that are looking at residential real estate for good reason. I mean, because there's a lot of money being made there, and I don't care what the narrative might be or what the trends look like. At some point, I think the vultures are coming. I think it's important to understand that. And I think it's also important to know that ownership is really critical. If you don't own something, then someone will own you. So let me ask you this. So Laura, I know that the orange Muppet, as you call Trump, is really just a big emotional thing for you. But what about do you see anything happening in the Trump administration in terms of deregulation that might actually help or be something that people can take advantage of, right? Rather than just sort of being upset about him being in
Okay.
office.
Yeah.
Are there, and he is pro business, he's pro investor, pro money, right? And we have a lot of investors in this room. Is there a way that people could still take advantage of that in the real estate space? Like I know one thing he seems to believe in is just getting rid of regulations so that building homes and stuff like that is easier to do. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and that's what I'm telling people. Don't just be angry. And I've had to learn this myself. You have to be able to take action. You see, their kryptonite is the fact that they think they have more than you do. So the regulations that they create for themselves are actually with that kryptonite that you can shoot right back to them. Because if he's pro real estate and he's for business, you better jump on that wagon. You better jump on that wagon. Now, yes, he will do a lot of deregulations on this. Why? Because that's how he built his wealth. I have a family member that worked with him in New York City. Well, not directly for him, but they were in the same circles. My family member was over the HUD condos and things of that nature for affordable housing. And HUD hired Trump. And what Trump would do was he would leave out the insulation. He would put in a crooked window. So he would pay the people to allow them to look over that and check it off the inspection. So from what he's done, he's going to allow. Now, I'm not saying you to do that. You do your best. You don't just do mediocre. You bring your Black excellence to everything you do, your words, your speak, your job, your everything. You don't do what they do. You do better. But you still can get in and do the same thing because you can buy properties with an FHA loan, okay, and get up to 4 units. You live in one, you rent out the three. Okay. So, and there's also programs like if that fourplex needs some work, there's the 203K loan that you could take advantage of. So there are ways to get around that where you still can get ahead while also taking care of you and your family as well.
Mm, interesting. Okay, well, that I like that. And one more thing I want to mention to everybody really quickly. If you just came in, I'm speaking with Miss Laura Key. She is pretty much most of the time. I see you almost always being the main host for Fly Nubian Money. I know that there are others that come in and host, Constance Carter, and just so many smart Black women. But I see you on there so much. How many days a week are you the host?
Four, four.
Well, yeah,
I
yeah,
have
that's
to
what
be
I
in
thought.
there.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. And it's okay if I call you Lala. I know everybody else
Uh,
does.
yes,
Okay, so Lala, and everyone should look her up. Lala's smart, and the ladies at Fly Nubian Money, they're just super brilliant Black women. And it's not ain't no twerking, ain't no stereotyping out here. Like these women are serious. Dr. Lene Javette is not a joke. My wife, Dr. Alicia Watkins, comes in there with y'all a lot. Tiara Williams, Constance Carter, just so many amazing people. And the other sister, because she's coming, she does AI.
Athena's a
Athena.
learner.
How can I forget Athena? And anybody I didn't remember, I didn't name everyone because there's so many people. Madam President does stuff on the channel as well. So anybody who wants to be notified when they go live, pull out your phone, text the word Queens to the number 87948. So just text Queens to 87948, and you'll be notified. I like what you all do because I just personally feel like I like the idea of having I love Black female voices sort of being heard as much as our voices, but then also the diversity. I think the diversity of Black men and Black women gets underappreciated, right? Like
Yes,
for example, as a Black man, I get annoyed that like people are asking me like, well, how do you feel about Snoop Dogg performing for Trump? I'm like, I feel the same way I felt when I saw Megan Thee Stallion twerking for Trump, or when I see the rapper Plies, or not Trump, I'm sorry, not Trump, but Kamala, right? Or you see the rapper Plies, what it's like we're more than rappers. Black men are more than rappers, we're more than comedians, we're more than athletes. And when you're only focusing on that small group, you're ignoring like tens of millions of men who are like, no, wait, hey, I'm just a dad. I'm a hardworking dad who loves my kids. Or I'm a hard I'm a man who gets up and goes to my job every day. I'm not out here killing people or rapping about debauchery or disrespecting my women or throwing my money away. I'm actually building a life. I'm trying to be smart. I'm trying to be better. But you keep going to these stereotypes, right?
yes,
Like in the Trump inauguration, we saw that there was nothing but white people mostly in that room. But every now and then you would see a Black caricature, like whether it was the rapper performing at the crypto ball or, or like Rick Ross, I'm the drug dealer, right? And we don't
yeah,
glorify drug dealers. Get out of here with that stuff.
yeah,
Or you had that pastor who's like, and the Lord said to Jacob that Jesus let freedom ring, let freedom ring, like seriously, I'm sorry. Some of these preachers ain't nothing but rappers who smoke less weed. That's what
yes,
they're just they ain't nothing but rappers that
yes.
it's like y'all stop that. So let me get off my rant, and I'm gonna
No,
say
you're right, though.
what I appreciate about Fly Nubian Money is that it's the same thing. Like Black women get typecast, and it's
Yes,
all Black women ain't Cardi B, right?
that's right.
And we got lawyers and doctors and scientists and engineers and teachers and everything else. Can you speak to that, please, before I embarrass myself further?
No, that's the thing. And we need to make sure that we show our children because see, you see, the things that are slowly and no, not slowly anymore, that are being taken away from us very quickly that we fought so hard for. Not saying they were perfect, like DEI and all those things, they're not perfect, but it was something to allow us to put our foot in the door and be seen as other than, yes, massa, okay? But now they want to put us right back in those spots. We have brilliant people out here. I love all my queens. When we're on there, I learn something from them every day. And we fix each other's crowns. There was something that Constance saw that I should fix, and she said, Lala, I need you to fix this for me. And I was like, you. So we help one another. We help raise one another up, but we also need to teach our babies and stop letting them get these phones and like, oh, I can get at 2 years old, 2 years old out the womb, look, fighting and crying for a phone. When I am in Portugal, I'm going to tell you this. When I am in Portugal, the same age group of children that I see are playing on the playground. They don't get the phones. They don't get on social media. They don't do those things. They play like kids. And we need to learn to start going back to those principles of teaching our children and showing by example. I was raised by a village. I saw my aunties, I saw my uncles. I saw them doing their thing. I saw them as a couple. I saw them, and that's what I wanted to emulate. And that's what I am doing. And I'm hoping that our light, my husband and I's light, is going to shine for the next generation. And I was so proud when one of my nieces came to me and said, Auntie, I need you to help me with something. That showed me that we're doing something right. And that's what we have to do for our children because they are watching us. And if we out in the streets twerking and they seeing us out in the streets twerking, then what do you think they're going to want to do? And we used to be ashamed when you see babies dancing and stuff and they be dancing the wrong way and the parents be, go sit your butt down. No, nowadays they're like, oh, look at little Shay Shay, she twerking. No, that's not cute.
Right.
That's not cute at all. We're better than that.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I just, yeah, and I think personally, it's really up to us to kind of fix that as much as we can, and I don't know what all the answers to all of this, but I do know that self-respect is a good place to start. And also I want to acknowledge someone in the chat. They're mentioning a stock that we talked about, golf, GOLF. I think John said something about it. It looks like golf is way up, like 29%. And actually, speaking of stocks, we are going to be doing Stock Market Tuesday this afternoon at noon. And so if you want to do a free trial on our Stock Market Investors Club, you can go to drboystockmarket.com and you can come in this afternoon and I'll talk to you guys about some stocks that I like because I really think that we should be investing. No matter who, if a Democrat's in office, you should be investing. If a Republican's in office, you should be investing. Because here's what's interesting, Lala. And by the way, the URL is drboystockmarket.com. One thing I've noticed, Lala, is when the Democrats are in office, the stock market tends to go up. When the Republicans are in office, the stock market tends to go up. We don't know about policies. We don't know, which policies are going to work, who's going to declare war, whatever. But we do know that there is a very high probability, almost a complete certainty, that during the next 4 years, the stock market is going to go up. Crypto is
Mhm.
going to go up.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
if a Democrat takes over, the stock market is going to go up. Crypto may or may not, but stock market for sure, right? So do you think that that's something maybe we can start with in terms of rallying around something? Like we're always looking for something to find like black unity around, right? And maybe we can't unify around liberal conservative. Maybe we can't unify around, gay rights or whatever, these hotbed issues, the social issues. But I think, I don't know, tell me if y'all agree in the chat. I think we can unify around black wealth. I think we can unify around the idea that we're better off, all of us are, if we have access to the resources that we need to feed our kids. What do you think about that? How's that for a campaign speech, La?
That's perfect. How about y'all stop buying these Hermes bags and Gucci and put that money into building your wealth? There's so many things out there now to get you started on the wealth road, and you get them here. Dr. Boyce has so many of them, and it's easy to, like I said, just stop buying all the daggone Starbucks every week, and that little bit of money can end up growing into quite a nice nest egg.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. They call that the latte factor in the
Yeah.
book. what was that book? I think it was called The Automatic Millionaire by I forgot who wrote it. But anyway, he was yeah, he did a great calculation where he was like, yeah, if you take $5 that you might spend on coffee at the time Starbucks was 5. Now it's like $10. You can't get a
Exactly.
good drink without spending $10 in Starbucks. And yeah, he was like, yeah, if you invest that consistently in the S&P 500, you'd have insane amounts of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Or we do that with our $5 a day plan, where I basically was like, yeah, let's look at what we might spend money on. And I'm not saying stop doing what you're doing. I'm not saying you can't go and buy the coffee. You can't, I'm not saying you can't go and buy the chicken or whatever the hell it is you buy that, but just love yourself as much as you love the people who made that damn chicken. Right?
Right.
I'm not saying don't get the Mercedes. I'm saying love yourself as much as you love the car dealer. Love your kids and your legacy as much as you care about those people that you're giving money to. Because if you go out and you pay your $700 car note, but then you say, you know what, I feel kind of bad. Almost like how, my wife's a Catholic. You're not a Catholic, are you?
No,
You Catholic? Okay, good. I don't want to offend
Baptist.
Catholics. But what do you say?
I'm a Baptist.
Baptist, okay, like my daddy, like my mom and my daddy. But yeah, but like in the Catholic Church, it's so funny how like no matter what you do, you can just kind of atone for your sins. Like just come in and confess. Maybe if you give a little money, then we'll let you in heaven, right? Well, I think the same thing is true here. We can let you in. Yeah, not I'm not doing any of this, but the universe will let you into financial heaven if you just atone for your financial sin. Now, how can
Right.
I? Without sounding goofy, and I'm not trying to be sacrilegious, so forgive me if I sound that way. But here's the deal. Look, make a simple agreement with yourself. Look, I'm still going to make mistakes. I still might make some choices that are not perfect, but I'm going to atone for my sins. Right? So when I
Exactly.
make a financial sin by wasting money, I spend $1,000 on a Hermes bag or whatever they cost. I'm going to go put $1,000 in my stock portfolio. Right? I got to get a new iPhone that's 1,200 bucks. I'm gonna go put $1,200 in some Apple stock. My car note. I like to drive. I want to drive something nice, so my car note is $800, which is embarrassing. But I'm gonna atone for my sins by putting $800 a month in my stock portfolio. I guarantee you, I guarantee you that if you do that, then you will be better off. In fact, not just as well off, but probably better off than the person who did not get the car, right? Who disciplined and strained themselves but didn't invest. Do you
Right.
understand? Right?
Right.
That's the myth of finance. That's the myth of investing gets perpetuated too much. That in order for you to live good, you got to suffer and like just go through this unbelievable amount of suffering. I don't think you have to suffer. I think you can be successful and be happy at the same time. In fact, I encourage you. I need you to be happy. I want you to be happy. Life is short. Don't spend your life being miserable. But at the same time, seek balance. If you find balance, balance is better than just misery and living a miserly, horrible life where you can't find joy in all the hard work you're doing. You're working your butt off of that money. You should be able to live nice. I want you to feel comfortable getting your Mercedes and buying your Starbucks and sipping your latte while you're driving your Benz. But just make sure that same amount of energy is being put into your future, into your portfolio. And then 20 years from now, you'll be able to buy a nicer Benz. How about that, Lala? How about that for a policy? Can I get your vote for president? Lala, do I have your endorsement?
You already there. You already there.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay, 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 okay. All right. So, all right. So let me now that we kind of had our moment on that front, I want to ask you a little bit more about sort of real estate, what you're seeing in the real estate market going forward in terms of opportunities. You're going to come into the Black Business School, which I'm honored, by the way, that you're coming in. You're going to talk about like purchasing HUD homes and things like that. Why is that important for you? Why do you think that that's a big opportunity that people maybe aren't aware of?
I do. I really, really do. When I first got into real estate, I came from a secretarial background. I knew nothing about sales. I got my license in 2006 in Denver, Colorado. I lost my job and I said, I'm done. I'm tired of working for other people and I need to do something. And my father-in-law and husband said, oh, try real estate. I said, okay. Well, I didn't know anything other than buying our own home and knowing that I didn't like our agent. I didn't know anything. So I went to Education 101 La La. And at the time, it was 2006, 2007, and the market had crashed. And that meant that there were a ton of HUD homes on the market. I mean, brand new communities where some of the homes People still had the little crank up things outside with the concrete, and it had crashed so bad that they couldn't even finish the homes. So every other home was a HUD home. Well, at that time, most of the agents were like, "Ah, this ain't gonna last. You don't need to worry about learning that stuff. It's gonna bounce back real fast." Well, I was like, I don't know nobody to sell to. So I made it a point to learn how to sell HUD homes. It is a different process than just buying a regular home on the market. It's a different process than buying a short sale, but it is a government home. A HUD home is a home that was foreclosed upon from someone who used an FHA loan, which is a government loan. So the government agrees to buy it back from the lender who allowed that loan to go through. So this is where these houses come from. They are in all different shapes. I've purchased homes that needed to be completely rehabbed to I didn't even want to walk in there stinky. And I've also sold some that were brand new, like back your truck up, baby. You all you need is your appliances. So they're across the board. But HUD fixates on first time home ownership. Now, it doesn't mean you've never not have to buy a house before. It just means in the last 2 years you didn't purchase a home, right? After 2 years, you're still considered a new homeowner, a homeowner person. So you can go and buy these properties at a fair market value. It's no longer where you can underbid them. Just it's just not that kind of market right now. But you still can get these homes without so much competition as regular sold homes. Now, is the competition there? Yes, but you got strategies that you could do. And as long as you live in that home 1 year, so say like you have to buy in an area you just I don't like this area, but I could stay here for a year. You could end up renting that property and taking some equity and buying another home in another area.
Mm,
Or you could stay put there, or you could put it in your trust and move somewhere else. So you could do a whole lot with that one little property that you could buy from HUD. And as I said, if it's in bad shape and you qualify for a 203K loan, which they encourage because they want people to buy these homes, then you can do it. Now, if you're an investor and you're like, this is kind of tough out here. I keep on trying to get these houses. I'm not getting them. Well, after the bidding period of home ownership buyers, if no one buys that property, they will offer it to investors. And you could do the same thing. And you
mm.
don't have, there is no time limits for that one. An investor, you can fix it, flip it, keep it, whatever.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so it's now how long have you been in real estate?
Since 2006.
Oh wow, wow. Okay, and what drove you into that field?
Well, my I was a secretary for a very long time. I had my son very early, so I was told you need to go and get a job. Well, at the time, secretary is what I did. And out of all of my jobs, I never was fired. I was either let go or the company, because the company was downsizing, or the company decided they were going in a different direction. And so finally, the last job that I had was a small company in Denver. Loved it. Got glowing reviews every time, raises every time, told me I was getting ready to move up in the company. Then the owner's wife decided she wanted to go back to work. And guess whose job she wanted? Mine. So I lost my job. And I said, that's it, I'm done. And at the time, we were looking at real estate investing. And my husband was like, it might be good if you go ahead and you get your license, and then maybe we can get in on some of these deals. And that's when things just went completely batty and it became hard. But we had already owned our home by then. I knew what to do because of what my agent didn't do for us. And I made it a point to do everything to help people and understand the process. So immediately after I started understanding the process and learning what was going on, I started teaching people. So I had real estate classes,
Mm.
because I'm all about giving back to our community. But that's how I ended up getting into real estate.
You know, I was listening to your story and I was thinking about how it feels um to lose your job. And just what I wonder on a like therapeutic level, what that does to a person's psyche and sense of security. Like, I wonder if it's natural um to go through life feeling that insecure and that stressed out to know that you can do everything right. You're going to work every day, you're working hard, you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're not in jail, you're not, you're not hurting people. But then one day it's just like, sorry, we decided to go in a different direction. It almost seems like there should be laws against that, but there's not enough in the United States anyway. Now, in other countries though, they don't let you do. You can't just be like, well, we want to put more money in our pocket, so we letting half of y'all go. You can't do
Yeah.
that as
Yeah.
easily as the European country. But here in the US, it seems like that happens a lot. What do you think that does? What toll do you think that takes on the mental health of
It took a
America?
lot on me. I'm going to speak from personal experience. That took a lot out of me because, I sat back and watched some of my uncles and aunts work for a company for a very long time. And at the end, they got their little pension and they got the gold watch. And, I'm dedicated to the company that I'm with and I'm giving them my all. Well, guess what? They don't give you back your all anymore. There is really no such thing as a golden watch anymore. There aren't really very many pensions for people in anything. They want to take what they can from you and then they're going to let you go. Well, after a while, you start thinking, what's wrong with me? What did I do? You start kind of internalizing it. Well, that was very hard for me. Whenever I lost a job, I would sit back and reflect like, what could I have done to been some of those people that had to stay? Well, when you look back on it, the people they kept was the people who was doing payroll and HR. Everybody else was expendable. Once you reach that cap, that pay cap with a company, they don't want to pay you anymore and they don't want you to move up. So
Wow.
therefore, what they do is they make a reason to get rid of you so they can bring in these new kids that get paid less and then they do
Mhm.
the same thing. So it's a cycle. And we are going to see much more of that because although I am an AI lover, baby,
Mhm.
I'm loving it. I'm loving AI. I have so much fun with AI. I know how to do graphics. I know how to do all sorts of stuff. I think it's because I'm a creative. I'm a creative, right? I'm also a vocalist. So I've always been a creative. But you better be careful because there are top experts right now that are saying, uh-oh, this is AI is going to be covering marketing jobs are going to be gone. We really don't need people. And we are now starting to see big companies doing just that.
Yeah, and programmers, all that stuff. I think even Google and Microsoft were basically admitting like, yeah, half of our code is written by AI now. You
Yes.
and and that's interesting, right? Because we used to think that if you were a really good computer programmer, you could always find a job. Not in the age of AI. Things change. And so I think that's
You
really and
code
that
right now. Okay, I can write you code right now. We put it.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, we did and that's what's interesting, right? You could have a person that knows nothing about coding who could write code as well as the best coders on earth. Like
Yes.
because they put the AI into these computer programming competitions, and the AI beat 99% of the coders, that were in the competition, right? So this is interesting, right? It's a kind of a new world, and it requires creative thinking, and we're gonna do some stuff on AI very very soon. We're actually gonna bring in Athena Gardner, who's really into AI, and some other people because I think that that's really important to drill into. And speaking of Laura, if you have an interest in what she's doing with real estate, she's actually going to be our next specialist to come into our real estate club, and we're going to meet tonight. It's tonight, right, at 8 p.m. tonight,
It
which is
is. Yes.
okay. And today is January 21st, 2025. So some people may be watching the recording, so I want to make sure they know. Um,
Right.
but we'll save that for those of you that can't make it, and those who want to come in and talk to Laura and ask her questions, and also get her special training on how to do the HUD real estate and things like that. You can actually go to drboycerealestate.com and do a free trial in the club. So feel free to go to drboycerealestate.com. So I want to say thank you very much to our special guest, Miss Laura Key. Do you have like a Instagram or something that we can follow?
You can find me across all social media under Realty Goddess. Now,
Real.
when I first did that, people laughed at me when I first got in real estate. They were like, "Oh, Realty Goddess." I was like, "I'm not studying you." Guess what? People find me all across the board under Realty Goddess. Easy.
There we go. Well, hey, give me a yes in the chat if she has the right to call herself a realty goddess. I think you know what? You a smart, capable black woman, so you a goddess in my book. So go ahead, little realty goddess. You do your thing. You got my support. So if I get your vote for president, then I will give you my endorsement for realty goddess. There we go. We got to put crowns on each other. How about that? All right. So.
Perfect.
So God bless everybody. It's great to see you today. We had a great time. If you want to be notified when we meet every morning for our millionaire training camp, we do this every morning, 7 days a week, because we're serious about this. Make sure you get on the text list. Text the word morning, MORNING, to the phone number 87948. Text morning to 87948. I'll also later on this afternoon send you all a link if you'd like to do the free trial in the real estate camp and meet with Laura tonight, as well as the other experts that have come in. And then number two, we're going to do Stock Market Tuesdays at noon today. And you can go to drboystockmarket.com if you want to take a look at that. So we got you covered in the Black Business School. We want to see you win. We want to see you succeed. Bring your kids, by the way. Like your kids need to be exposed to this. In fact, a little bit later, I'm going to do sort of a conversation about what happened with all the election stuff and just some things I observed that I think might help you in terms of getting your kids and grandkids ready for the next generation. I won't even go into it right now, but I promise you, I think these insights will help you. So have a great day, everybody, and thank you again, Laura. I look forward to seeing